971 in lesson 911, you found a relationship between the squares of the sides of triangle and the type of triangle, such as acute, obtuse, or right. You discovered that if the sum of the squares of the two shortest sides in a triangle equals the square of the length of the longest side, then the triangle is a right triangle. Use this idea to determine whether the lengths listed below form a right triangle. Explain your reasoning. So basically what we're doing here is we're following that Pythagorean theorem that we talked about in the last problem. So that's that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to put it short. So basically, we're taking the two smaller areas, squaring them, I'm sorry, it's not areas, it's the two smaller lengths, and squaring them to see if it adds up to the longest length when we square it. So let's take a look at part A. Now, you do need to be careful and pay attention to the wording because it is lengths that they're giving us. It is not areas, it is lengths. So for A, what we're going to do is, I know the longest length is always going to be C in my equation. It doesn't matter which one of these is A and which one is B, so I'm just going to go A, B. So we're going to do 15 squared plus 36 squared equals 39 squared. Now this is where you should have a calculator handy. If you don't, you can always find a scientific calculator online with Desmos. If you just type in Desmos into the search bar, it's the first thing that will come up, and you can click on scientific. That's DESMOS. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. So 15 squared is 15 times 15, which is going to give me 225. 36 squared is going to give me 1,296. And 39 squared is going to give me 1,521. So now we have our areas of each of the squares that share a side length with this triangle. So 225 plus 1,296, that is going to give us 1,521, which is equal to 1,521. So since they're equal, this means we do have a right triangle for part A. So we're going to say yes, this is a right triangle. All right, on to part B. So part B gives us three side lengths. We have the two shorter side lengths, and the longest is our hypotenuse. So remember that hypotenuse has to be C in our equation. It doesn't matter which one of these two is A and which one is B. So let's get crazy and call this one B, this one A. So if we are plugging these into our A squared plus B squared equals C squared equation, I'm going to do 21 squared plus 20 squared. You want to make sure you use those parentheses too, those are important, equals 29 squared. All right, so this is where you need to put things into your calculator. So 20 squared is 20 times 20, which is 400. 21 squared is 21 times 21. That's going to give us 441. And 29 squared is going to give us 841. All right, so now we have all of our areas. So remember, these two smaller areas, to have a right triangle, need to add up to this larger area. So 441 plus 400 does give us 841. So since this works out and it's equal on both sides, again, yes, we do have a right triangle. All right, let's take a look at part C. So part C gives us the side lengths 8 yards, 9 yards, and 12 yards. So again, longest one is our hypotenuse. The other two are the legs, A and B. It doesn't matter which one is labeled A and which one is labeled B. So let's just go back to A, B, C. All right, let's plug it into our a squared plus b squared equals c squared formula. That's that Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to do a squared, or 8 squared, plus b squared, which in this case is 9. So 9 squared equals c squared, and my c is 12. All right, 8 squared. Hopefully you know this, and if not, use your calculator. 64. All right, plus 9 squared, which is 81, equals 12 squared, which is 144. 64 plus 81 is going to give me 145. And 145 is not equal to 144. It's close, but it's not equal, so that's not going to work for us. We do not have a right triangle. Okay, and our final part for this problem, part D. They give us 3 side lengths, 4 meters, 7 meters, and 8 meters. 8 is my longest side, which means that is the hypotenuse, that is C. Let's go ahead and call this B and A, just so you can see it doesn't matter which one is A, which one is B. All right, if I'm doing my a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I'm going to have 7 squared plus 4 squared equals 8 squared. Remember to use those parentheses, so 7 squared is 49, plus 4 squared is 16, and 8 squared is 64. All right, so we have our 3 areas now. And again, we want to, in order to have a right triangle, these two need to add up to equal this in order to have a right triangle. So 49 plus 16 gives me 65, not 64. So these are not equal. Again, it's close, but it's not equal, so we do not have a right triangle. All right, and this is all for problem 971.